Why Africa is still underdeveloped. Africa is humanity's birthplace, a land of breathtaking beauty and immense potential, a continent rich in gold, diamonds, oil, and fertile soil. Yet its people suffer from poverty, hunger, and stagnation. Why has a land so blessed been so burdened? What historical scars and modern challenges have kept Africa from reaching its greatness? Now we embark on a journey to uncover the deep roots of Africa's underdevelopment and explore the pathways to its redemption. One of the major factors contributing to Africa underdevelopment is the colonial legacy, a wound that never healed. Africa was not a continent of nations. It was a hunting ground, a place where its strongest sons and daughters were stolen, shipped across the ocean in chains. When the slave trade ended, the colonialists arrived, slicing the continent into pieces like a cake at the infamous Berlin Conference of 1884. The land was plundered, cultures were suppressed, and artificial borders were drawn with no regard for the people who lived there. For example, the Democratic Republic of Congo, rich in gold, cobalt, and diamonds, was brutally exploited by Belgium. Even after independence, the scars of colonial rule remained, with foreign interests continuing to control its resources. Another factor is contributing to Africa. Underdevelopment is political instability and corruption. The dream betrayed. Freedom came, but it was fragile. The dream of independence was shattered by power struggles, civil wars, and corruption. Many of Africa's new leaders, once hailed as liberators, became dictators. Foreign powers, unwilling to let go of their influence, sponsored coups and armed conflicts, keeping the continent divided. For example, Nigeria, Africa's largest economy, has lost billions of dollars to corruption. In the infamous $2.1 billion arms deal scandal of 2015, money meant for national defense was funneled into private pockets, leaving the military ill-equipped. Another factor is contributing to Africa underdevelopment is economic dependence and exploitation. The chains remain. Africa is the world's treasure chest, but the wealth rarely stays here. The continent exports raw materials and imports finished products at much higher prices. This cycle ensures that Africa remains dependent on foreign economies. For example, Ghana, a top cocoa producer, exports raw cocoa beans instead of processing them into chocolate, allowing foreign companies to reap the profits while local farmers struggle with poverty. Another factor is contributing to Africa. Underdevelopment is poor infrastructure and weak institutions. How can a nation develop without the pillars of progress? Across Africa, roads crumble, hospitals lack medicine, and power outages are a daily reality. Bureaucracy is slow, corruption is rampant, and justice is often for sale to the highest bidder. For example, in South Sudan, during the rainy season, large portions of the country become inaccessible due to poor road networks, isolating communities and crippling economic growth. Another factor is foreign aid and the debt trap, the illusion of help. Foreign aid was meant to lift Africa, but in many cases, it has become another form of control. High-interest loans from global financial institutions have buried nations in debt, while aid money is often mismanaged or lost to corruption. Instead of empowerment, many African nations have been caught in a cycle of dependency. For example, Zambia's debt crisis peaked in 2020 when the country defaulted on its loan payments. Over-reliance on Chinese and Western loans left the nation struggling to provide basic services. Another factor is education and brain drain, the exodus of talent. Africa's brightest minds are often forced to seek opportunities elsewhere. Doctors, engineers, and scientists trained in Africa leave for countries where they are better paid and valued, leaving their homeland in desperate need of their skills. For example, Nigeria has over 5,000 doctors working in the UK alone, leaving the country with one of the worst doctor-to-patient ratios in the world. Another factor is climate change and environmental challenges, a battle for survival. Africa contributes the least to global pollution, yet it suffers the most. Climate change has turned once fertile lands into deserts, forcing people to migrate and sparking conflicts over dwindling resources. For example, the Sahel region is slowly being swallowed by the desert, making agriculture nearly impossible and forcing thousands to flee their homes. The way forward to sustainable development in Africa is good leadership by Africa leaders, which will lead to the rise of young entrepreneurs, digital revolutions, and improved governance, show that the continent is finding its own path. For example, Rwanda has transformed itself from a war-torn nation into one of Africa's most progressive economies. Through smart governance, investment in technology, and anti-corruption measures, Rwanda has shown what is possible. The wounds of history are deep, the challenges are vast, but the future is not yet written. Will Africa rise, or will it remain in the shadows of exploitation and struggle? The answer lies not in the past, but in the choices made today.